everyone, jtheadeptrogue here, and I'm talking to you, the internet. Everybody loves Super Smash Bros., right? Well, news last week that our favorite fighting mashup is coming to Nintendo's latest console, the Switch. Got mine too. As we all know, Super Smash Bros. Is one of the most iconic fighting games that ever hit the world market. For its unique stages, its elements of surprise, its big bad bosses, its Easter eggs.
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
And of course, its big character reveals. And yes, I know about the Inkling twins and the mystery silhouettes. We can't confirm at this time if it's a new game entirely or a rehash of the Wii U and 3DS. Still waiting for Masahiro Sakurai on that one. But let's say for the sake of argument that when they make this hypothetical next game, who would they have? Well, that's what we're here for. This is a list of characters whom I've picked personally and have the highest probability of making the Super Smash Bros. Roster. Now, this is entirely subjective, so we're all entitled to our opinions. But since this is my show, I'm the one talking and you get to hold silence. Now, there are a few rules I want to bring up in order to straighten things out here. Okay? Rule 1. None of the veterans. They're pretty much a no-brainer. I wanted this list to introduce something new and innovative. Rule 2. Nothing that's too big or too small. We got items, we got stage elements, and we don't need to exert ourselves with a giant in the selection. I'm trying to be practical here. To give you an example, this is not 6 inches. You're welcome. Rule 3. No more Fire Emblem Warriors, please. They, like the veterans, they're easy pickings. They already got their own phone app. What more do you need? Now that we got that out of the way, let's proceed on to what you've been waiting for. These are my best guess and no other. This is my top 10 likeliest candidates for the next Super Smash Bros. Cue the fire cross. Number 10. Soul Bad Guy from Guilty Gear. When DLC were introduced, it became open season for fan favorites. When news of Cloud came out, the internet lost its shit and think anything could happen. It's anyone's game at this point. The reason I bring Soul to this list is so that the character can seal the deal with the companies that made him, Arc System Works and Access Games. Since they already got a DBZ game out, and with a cross-tag battle with Rooster Teeth on the way, why not add Smash to that resume?
Shut up. So, this is legit?
Soul Bad Guy is a hot-headed old-timer who mostly keeps to himself and often doesn't socialize. He's rude, boorish, and butch, but can be somewhat compassionate. He's like that grumpy uncle whom you're trying to get his praise, but you find it's so difficult. His fighting style is better described as volcanic. He certainly deliver the ground pound and flames burst to any that try him. What can I say? If you add this not-so-bad guy to Smash, and with fan expectations, you can guarantee that Smash will be...
Destroy!
Am I still so far?
Really? Won't let me finish?
Number 9. Cosmos from Xenosaga. Because Nintendo has ties with Monolith Soft via Shulk, I thought it makes sense that she'd be a part of this while also keeping in mind of some of the consoles she's been on over the years. Originally debuted in early 2000, she's had numerous appearance changes and still looking good in more games than I care to count. And look at me, I don't feel tired of it. She even has a few occasions where her counterpart comes along for the ride in these spin-offs. This anti-Gnosis combat weapon is a walking artillery that does not back down. Though intimidating, she often dresses somewhat kinky, like giving us something sexy to look at, which also prompts the old question.
Can you it?
Excuse me?
Can you it?
With a hidden arsenal at her disposal and a processor that keeps calculating, hell has no fury like a militarized android that's too beautiful to look away.
All systems operational. Are you my master?
Riveting. Number 8. Shovel Knight from Shovel Knight. I never really studied on this character that much. From my perspective, it's just a goofy little knight armed with an ordinary gardening tool.
There. Sure glad I don't look stupid in this.
Though to be fair, he does have a variety of moves to work with. He digs up buried jewels and treasure, strikers scoop up enemies, using his shovel like a pogo stick, and breaks down hidden areas. He's like the little Mac of Steel Knights.
Bitch, I'm adorable.
In any case, if you want Shovel Knight in this roster so bad, I can literally dig it. Number 7. Marina from Mischief Makers. Only one game has ever existed for this character, and by God we want more. It was one of the most memorable titles on the N64 at the time. The reason I bring her up is for the chance of her getting some form of reboot. A classic gem that could use the chance to shine again. She's a cyborg who has to constantly save her professor from being abducted all the time. The only offensive thing I've ever noticed she's done entirely consists of using her hands, whether grabbing, shaking, throwing, blocking, or storing. The developers could make it so that she could pull things out of a jar. She's not only metaphorically handy, but fast and mobile with propulsion. Whether advanced technology or a girl trying to get her old man princess back, Maria's a classic favorite whom fans hope to get if they ever look for a flying house in the sky. Number 6. Bomberman from the Bomberman franchise. The icon of Hudson, now owned by Konami, that keeps on blasting for more. Games, that is. Originally released in 1983, his games are mainly about puzzling platformers, mostly without the use of jumping or just facing other players with bombs exploding in perpendicular waves. You could argue he doesn't have a lot of moves to work with, primarily because he just throws bombs. Not like he ever threw a kick or a punch at anyone. Turn puzzles into moves, why don't you? Or propel him using bombs. You could say he really blows? Okay, that was bad. Sorry. Whether he's a good pick or not, I think there's no such thing as giving Smash too many explosions.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Number 5. Banjo and Kazooie. From the game series, Banjo-Kazooie. The concept of paired fighters is certainly nothing new to us. Debuted in the DK spin-off, the character Banjo eventually got into getting his own game franchise and put a bird in his bag. Banjo's premise is rather simplistic, beating an evil witch that rhymes who's causing havoc and remarking about bad hygiene. And your only means to progress are collecting puzzle pieces, juju people, and music notes.
And we talk too.
Throughout the series of games, they've changed their dynamics offense from bear swipes and bird pecks to military-grade firepower to mechanics in the garage. One thing that bothered me about them though is that how small they were compared to everything else. And I mean everything. Except for this. Well, as we've learned, if there's ever a dynamic duo in gaming, then I say bear and bird is the word. Number 4. Rabbids from Rayman Raving Rabbids. Starting off in a Rayman game, these adorable fugly bucktooth mushmouth things were such a treat to have, and we just eat it up. They eventually topped Rayman in Ubisoft's most popular. They even had their own TV show on Nickelodeon a while back. They make the habit of just multiplying on other games and causing all kinds of mayhem, with their strength in numbers, their disguises, and of course, that obnoxious scream. Furry, wide-eyed, and ugly as hell, these things are gonna get loose and put their face on the world as you know it. Number 3. Blastoise from Pokemon. For every trainer, there's a rival. We've had Charizard by himself, so why not have his water counterpart? Their rivalry has existed since the first 2 games ever produced. What would he do exactly? Well, you sure couldn't let him be a water ninja, would you? You had a Squirtle in Brawl, so why not have some attacks based off him? Unlike his winged counterpart, Blastoise better functions as a water tank on 2 feet. Don't forget his Mega Form. Love him or hate him, let's all hope that one day this old water-loaded gun tortoise can make a big splash in Smash. Number 2. Shantae from Shantae Half Genie Hero. On the top 5 list of America's fighter ballot, Shantae was a shoo-in for success, but was taught by the worldwide champion, Bayonetta. This character was in such high demand that even the game developer WayForward wanted her in Smash as well. But what is it that makes her in such high demand? Is it her appealing looks, her dagger-sharp ponytail, her belly dance, her ability to transform into cute animals, the voice actress behind her? I don't know.
It just raises too many questions.
Popularity dynamic Miss Shantae, I guess. No matter what happens, there is no doubt that in the future we'll be getting this lovely side-scrolling half genie out of a bottle. Before I get to my number 1 candidate, here's a handful of my runner-ups. Give them all a number 11 spot, if you will.
That strength? You really are my brother.
I've got a bunch of questions, kid, and you're gonna answer them all. But before that, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Shut up! You are both incompetent imbeciles. You're both fired. Out! Out!
All right, I'm leaving. Can we get your skippies in a square knot?
You do not have to fight alone.
Let's do this!
And the number 1 likeliest candidate for Super Smash Bros. Is Gunvolt from Azure Striker Gunvolt. Gunvolt would be an excellent addition to Smash Bros. If you took Fox, Pikachu, and Mega Man and stuffed them into a Seto Kaiba, you get this 16-bit blue coat bug zapper. Gunvolt is someone with a one-track goal. He protects a little girl with the dangerous power of song from an organization planning to use her power to, you guessed it, take over the world.
Of course!
His game is like a near-exact copy of Mega Man, with leveling and a skill system for him, with stages requiring you to beat their bosses, except you don't gain their abilities. And then of course, there's the ongoing rave music in the back that we just can't get enough of. He shoots lightning rods for bullets and zaps things like a Sith Lord. There's also an OVA that's only available for the 3DS's eShop for purchase, just so if you want to get the premise of the story down. No matter what anyone says, no matter how much he fights the world, I still think he looks pretty shockingly cool for a good fight. Gunvolt, my number 1 likeliest candidate for the next Super Smash Bros. And now to wrap things up. Whether you agree with my choices or not, there's nothing wrong with it, and just like you, I can be wrong too. Smash Bros. Started off small with a handful of Nintendo All-Stars, and it definitely left an impact. We wanted more of this series, and Sakurai put the special in special delivery, even going beyond Nintendo standards and bringing other developers and their characters together, opening the door to new and bolder possibilities, with characters that we grew up with then and others that we adore now, a love letter to all gamers everywhere. Super Smash Bros. is a franchise above itself in the past and present, and no doubt it will hold strong in the hopefully near future. That are one of their biggest profits ever. This is J-Rogue saying, top this list, and smash our expectations.
It was a beautiful day and everyone was excited. There was a picnic and the whole Nintendo crew was invited. Luigi stood up and said,
"Listen everyone, I love you guys. You are my best friends in the world. You make me glad to be alive."
"Excuse me, hi there, I'm the announcer for a fun new family game. It's called Super Smash Brothers."
That sounds nice. How do we play?
Well, first I'm gonna warp you into a world of hate and war, where you'll assault everyone you have ever known and loved before.
I don't think I want to do that.
Oh, come on, it'll be a blast. Now grab all your little friends, cause it is time for us to motherfucking smash!
Wait, no. That's not cool.
I needed that showed! The park was destroyed, hundreds of bystanders dead. Kirby held Donkey Kong captive in his huge, disgusting head.
Too much Fire Emblem. Too much Fire Emblem. Too much Fire Emblem.